Let's just go to Kate in Denver and get this show going. America, I'm alive. Let's go to Kate. What's up, Kate?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
It's been a morning.
Sounds like it.
But it's been I can hear the sympathy in your voice. Thank you for loving me so much, Kate. So what's up?
I'm glad you're okay.
Thank you. What's up?
So my husband and I, we have two boys. They're 9 and 7. My husband's side of the family is my husband and the side of his family they're very obese. My side of the family and myself are not. I'm very active. How do I safely and carefully teach the boys about weight and healthy habits?
Oh, that's such a great question. Let me ask you a couple questions. How long have you been married?
Going on 12 years.
12 years. All right. Is your husband obese?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
The whole family is. They've all struggled with weight. A couple of his siblings have managed to lose weight, but I don't know what it's like. Fortunately, I guess they will lose the weight, but then it kind of just comes back. You know, it's hard to keep off, I'm sure, when it's a family thing.
Yes and no. So there's going to be some genetic predisposition there. There's no question about that. And there's also going to be some tendencies, some just natural inclinations. But there's going to be a big chunk of this is going to be modeled behavior. This is how we live. This is how we eat. This is who we are. This is what we do for fun. This is what we do for stress. This is what we do for hurt or pain, etc. Right? You may have heard me say on this show, I was surprised yet not surprised. I had a bunch of genetic work done earlier this year, and they told me I have something called the cookie jar gene. And I was like, what is that? And he said, it's not deterministic, but you have a leaning that when you get stressed, you get exhausted. If you see an open package of X, Y, or Z, you will finish that package. And so discipline for you is less about white knuckling it through things. It's more about you can never have that in your house, right? So it's a genetic, it's a leaning, but there's some behavior there, right? There's some activity and action there. So here's the hard thing. And again, I'm not a medical doctor, and I'm also not a geneticist. So I would recommend that you get some genetic testing done on your boys and on you and on your husband. Have y'all met with a doctor before?
Not about this.
Okay.
No.
If you'll stay on the line when we get done, I'll give you the name to my doctor. And he incorporates everything from your genetics to your blood work to everything into, hey, here's how you can change your life in a very specific way. Here's what's going to be hard for your boys is that they're watching everything. And so they are absorbing and learning this stuff. And so true behavior change, are they already showing signs of being overweight?
No, they're very, very skinny, but my husband said that he was very tiny like that too. And they do see a big difference because I teach fitness classes, I run marathons, and they see me and then they see their dad, and I just don't know. I don't know how to teach them safely.
You can so take the family stuff off. Obviously, you and your husband have had conversations about this. This has impacted your relationship in some way. Tell me about that.
Yeah, mostly just because I worry about what the boys see, and I don't want them to think that having extra weight is a bad thing. It's not. It's as long as you're healthy, that's what matters. And I want them to not feel like they can't do something because they have extra weight or they may have extra weight. And see, I don't even know which direction they're going to go. They're still fairly young.
Right. What is it about? Does your husband struggle? Does he enjoy his body? I mean, is he unable to do certain things? When you say obese, is he 30 pounds overweight or is he 130 pounds overweight?
He's probably about 150 pounds overweight.
Okay. Does he struggle to get around? Is it something would love to change? What is it about his situation that is keeping him stuck?
He's not happy with his weight. He does want to lose it. He's a stress eater, and his job is obviously very stressful. So he stress eats, and then he's tired of having a hard time finding the right pair of jeans. We had the boys, and I and my husband, we have dirt bikes, and we love to go ride, and he struggles. He can keep up. He's very active as far as his job, mechanicking. Like, he doesn't sit around and do nothing. He's physically active. He just doesn't, he has a hard time keeping up sometimes with the boys if they want to play sports, if we want to go for walks or bike rides.
Does he crash when he gets home?
Yes.
Just hits the couch?
Yeah, he'll hit the couch. He naps, if he sits around for a while, which I sometimes do too. You sit around, you get tired.
Sure.
He'll take a nap.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Your boys are going to absorb the quote-unquote way we do things or the way things are done through models, through pictures. And they will learn how to be a dad by watching their dad. And they will learn how to be a mom by watching their mom, or what moms quote-unquote do. And so if you are worried about my boy's downstream behavior, then the number one thing you can do is model different behavior. And that means that you and your husband need to have a hard conversation that starts something like, you're 150 pounds overweight, and I'm afraid you're going to die. Are you worried about him?
I am. We're in our early 30s. He's been on medication for pre-diabetes. So it's very worrisome. My grandma died of diabetes.
So you've seen this, you're watching it. There's going to be some genetic predispositions there. My guess is underneath, because at some point someone has to decide, this is what my life is worth. And the folks that I've met with, and again, I don't specialize in disordered eating. That's its own world, and it's notorious for how challenging it is. But with those that I've met with over the years, the conversation always lends itself to, this is just the way it is. This is just the way I am. Or, no, of course I don't want to do that, but I can't. There's this limiting script. There's this limiting story that they've seen, they've been told, they've had modeled for them. And often these are the most extraordinary people. And they are lovely and hilarious. They've got great personality. They've got to adapt, right? And the ones that make the big change are the ones that get to the place where they say, my life is worth feeling good. The hard that it's going to take to lose this weight, to just flip that switch and say, today's the day I start exercising. Today's the day I get a less stressful job if I have to. Today's the day I take 6 months off of work and we scrimp and claw and scratch financially so I can get my soul back. I can get my marriage back so I can be a good picture for these kids. The words that keep coming to mind here are change your family tree. And I would be willing to bet if you've got a family legacy of this, there's some sort of something going on there. And who knows what it is, right? Did he have a hard childhood?
No. They
just straightforward.
Very loving.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
very
awesome.
Family.
That's fantastic. So ultimately, it's him deciding, I want to live a different life. And one of the greatest gifts you could give those little boys is a dad who says, I'm going to do something different. Can I tell you mine on a much smaller, much more minor scale?
Yeah.
I'm late everywhere, and I am a wreck. Like, I just am always carrying stuff everywhere. Literally, I got in a wreck today, not paying attention. I don't pay attention very well. I'm usually thinking about something or crafting. My heads are in the clouds a lot. And I went into my son's room about 6 or 7 months ago, and it looked like he had just taken everything in his drawers and dumped it out. And I realized he hadn't done that. This is just how he was living. And more importantly, I walked back into my room to tell my wife, like, we got to do something about that. And I looked at my side of the room, and I just had this moment of, oh no, like, This isn't a matter of my son lacking character, integrity, or whatever. He's just being just like his old man. And I sat my son down, and I actually took him out, and I said, hey, I have to make some life changes, and I want you to come along with me. And the two big life changes are going to be about being on time, because it's disrespectful to you, to your mother, and to your sister, and to our family, and to our church community when I walk in there 15 minutes late, to my people I work with. And I haven't done a good job. So all I have to say is I laid it out. And I'm going to become militant about having a clean home. And that starts with me. And you're going to know, I need you to know, I'm going to turn the tables on you in a way that I've never done before. And I've kept up my end of the bargain. And interestingly, he's followed along, and it's been great. He does push back, like, I don't want to make my bed. I like sleeping in a huge pile of, right? But it started with me sitting down with him and saying, I need to do things differently, and you can watch me, and you're coming along for the ride. And then in your world, it's a total, we're going to shop differently. We're going to act differently. We're going to deal with stress differently. We're going to work differently. We're going to communicate with each other differently. Probably going to need to get some mental health professional to walk alongside him. 100% should get a medical professional with him. And there's something different when you go to a medical professional and say, I want to lose some weight. Or I need I got to get my diabetes under control, or I'm pre-diabetic, or I have metabolic syndrome. Any of those things. There's something different when you go to your doctor and say, I'm done. Today is the day. We change everything. And I need you to walk alongside me. The doctor I use is named Dr. Gus Vickery, and he's out of North Carolina, and he does a lot of his work. I don't even know if he's taking new patients right now. I don't know if I just put him on blast, but he does a lot of his work mobile, right? Over the internet, we communicate back and forth, and he's one of the greatest men I've ever met, and one of the greatest scholar researchers, and he's brilliant. And he takes everything into account, and it's also very expensive. Like I don't want to mince any. I don't want to give people the wrong impression. It's very, very expensive to have that level of attention and detail. What I would tell you all is 150 pounds overweight, early 30s, young boys, the money's worth it if you can find it, if you've got it, if you can scratch and claw. And if you don't have that money, which is totally understandable because it's expensive, go to your doctor and say, I need help. I'm ready. Go find a psychologist or a counselor in your area and say, it's time. We're going to do the things to change behaviors, to change the way we think. I'm going to look in the mirror and say, you are worth not having backaches. You're worth riding your motorcycles with the kids. You're worth changing your family tree. Somebody has to stare down that forest fire and say, no more. And Kate, that's what it's going to come down to, is modeling different behavior, and then being highly intentional about teaching your kids the right way to eat, the right way to move their body, the right way to deal with stress, the right way to deal with hurt, the right way to deal with pain. But that's going to start with new pictures and new models.